Hi everybody, welcome to Shivers. Tonight we're doing a late night movie review for the new movie Shelby Oaks. This comes out tomorrow, October 24th, 2025. This is created by Chris Stuckman, who has been a YouTube film reviewer and critic for the last couple of years. And this dream came true from the help of Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan is the person who created The Haunting of Hill House, Hush, a whole slew of horror creations, including Oculus as well. It's said that Chris Stuckman and Mike Flanagan bonded over one review of Oculus in particular, and that showed Mike Flanagan that he and Chris have a whole lot in common. So Chris Stuckman co-wrote and also directed this film. He created this with a big portion of crowdfunding, but a big portion of that was then from Mike Flanagan, who then became a producer, one of many, many, many producers on this movie. So that's to give you the background on Shelby Oaks. If you want it to be spoiler-free, just fast forward to the end for the actual rating. Otherwise, here's the actual story. So there's a lot to talk about with this movie. I went into it with expectations that it was going to be more Silent Hill similar, but what we ended up getting was a little bit of like Rosemary's Baby, which I will certainly get into. But this whole thing functions as this really unique version of found footage. So we're focused on the paranormal paranoids. They are a group of 4 people who are paranormal investigators. So we have Riley, we have Peter, we have Laura, and we have David. And Riley's sister, Mia, becomes our main character. So Riley has grown up with all of these like intuitive hits and kind of paranormal metaphysical connections, and everyone around her has just sort of dismissed it. So she then created this Paranormal Paranoids, and it's a YouTube channel that really took off. Not before all 4 of them went missing. And so that is really where we're kicking off this whole movie, is that we are looking for Riley from the perspective of Mia and looking for all of these other people from the Paranormal Paranoids. Their last known location is this town called Shelby Oaks, which is right outside the last dark county of Ohio. So it has now been flash forward 12 years since they're all missing. And we have a lot of alludes to the almost actual like filming of Blair Witch, where everybody was told that these are actual real people and this is the found footage and they're lost. So even in the beginning of this movie, we have certain like YouTube channel people that are saying like, oh, this is all staged from the Paranormal Paranoids. There's nothing real that's here. Like of course they're going to advertise to go missing because that's going to keep our attention for the next episode. Come to find out that then there is no next episode because they are actually all missing. So this random man comes to Mia's house. Mia has been now spending the majority of the beginning of the movie in this like documentary talking about the loss of her sister and, you know, how does it feel that she's probably passed away, and she's not giving up hope. She's like, my sister is still out there and going to find her, whether the police are going to find her or I'm going to, somebody's going to find her. So she answers the door in the middle of this documentary interview, and it's this man who I believe his name is Will Miles. I didn't quite catch it. That is what's listed online. So for the sake of this, his name is Will Miles. He is standing at her door and he says, she finally set me free. And then he commits suicide right in front of Mia and all of these people who are filming this documentary. In his other hand is a video of what we find out is sort of a different perspective from the last video that we have of Riley and all of the Paranormal Paranoids. And in that last video, not the one that he gives us, but the one that we've seen already, is that they're staying at this cabin in the woods that's near this abandoned amusement park in Shelby Oaks. And Riley is kind of crying to the camera and mouths the words, Mia, he's back. So we see some paranormal activity in the background. We see an actual regular person in the reflection as well. It's not enough for the police to go after, but it is enough for Mia to do something about it. So we go through this now suicide and we have this new piece of evidence. Of course, Mia takes it rather than giving it to the police and watches it. And it's a new video from just a different perspective, but of that same night. and everything that has actually happened. So that specific night, all three of the other paranormal paranoids were ripped to shreds. Riley was then kept by this Will person. And now Mia has an idea of she's got to be somewhere around that amusement park, somewhere around that cabin. So she starts doing some digging on this man who committed suicide right in front of her and finds out that he was a prisoner at a prison that was in Shelby Oaks that was completely covered in this black mold after he was there. So even the warden of that prison was like, I don't know what the hell Will Miles kind of came into this prison with, but he left it with nothing but death and decay and rot. So I don't know where he is or how he even basically got out, but he's not somebody to be around. He's just going to completely suck the life out of you. So we see throughout all of her exploration then that this cell 37 where Will was staying is a place that the paranormal paranoids went the night before. So we're sort of following their track from all of their actual found footage. My biggest gripe, which I will also kind of put all my thoughts together at the end, is that it took you 12 years to follow where the videos went. That to me is just a little silly. But regardless, so Mia now goes in the middle of the night to cell 37 in particular to try to find what's actually the truth. And she finds this demon book and all of this explanation of this idea that the devil or some sort of demon is attached to Will and causing all of this black mold, we'll say. I won't say it's black mold, but that's exactly what it looks like. And it's then revealed that through all of the intuitive and metaphysical experiences, paranormal experiences that Riley had as a child, she used to have all of these night terrors, and she would draw and record all of her dreams and her videos. So all of these things now that Mia is looking back on were more warnings than they were dreams. It's these images of this demon that is standing at their window. And it's actually pretty cool to me because like I just read The Whisper Man. If you guys haven't read that, please. It's a phenomenal book. But it's this idea that this more paranormal experience is sort of like tapping on your window and cracking the glass. So it's very much in alignment. But she would say that she was having these dreams of that. And Mia now says, I've never told anybody, but the one night, the night terrors from Riley were just so bad that I ended up staying in her room. And I saw with my own eyes something at her window that was not human. So Mia tells her husband this, who is just kind of over it. And he's like, you know what, Mia, you need help. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your theories anymore. You need help. So this is when she goes to the prison on her own in the middle of the night and goes to cell 37 where Will was. There's all of these carvings all over the walls, carvings that she has seen before. And there's also the flipped version of a carving that was private between Riley and Mia, that every single place that they go to, they would carve an R and an M into the wall as a reminder of where they have been and where they've come from. So this being flipped, we know that there is certainly something paranormal actually going on here. Is it a different portal or a different dimension? We don't know. But that's cool that it is there in that cell. So Mia then has this experience with these hellhounds, and she keeps seeing these figures of these dogs that are hellhounds, and she essentially gets chased out of this prison by all of these dogs, which then prompts her to be outside by the amusement park and sees another dog in the distance who then sort of seems like it's about to help her. But we also have a little bit of common sense here. Like, these dogs just sort of tried to attack you in this paranormal realm, and now you're going to go and follow it. So Mia goes and follows this dog, and there's now this little trailer in the middle of the woods. And as she approaches the trailer, there's an old woman named Norma who comes out, and her whole face is completely like shadowy, and so we know that there's something malicious here. She invites her in, and the entire house is coated in this black mold. So obviously this is the source of all of this evil. So Mia starts asking Norma all of these questions, do you live alone? As she's hearing all of these creaking footsteps upstairs. Do you have any children? And she's like, well, I do have a son. Like, how about you? You want any kids? And this has been a very big point of contention between Mia and her husband, that they have always wanted to have children, but never the right time. And then everything that happened with Riley has now completely taken over Mia's personality and life. So she's like, well, I'm, never the right time. This is just something that's never really worked out for me. And she's like, Norma is like, well, do you want to be a mother? Because that's what's written for you. All at that time, then we find out that this Will person is the son of Norma. And Riley has been kept in the basement of this little trailer for the last 12 years, essentially being bred by Will to carry what we can only assume is the Antichrist. So this is where we get that full circle moment of Rosemary's Baby to an extent, from two different perspectives. Somebody who is like avidly, I want a child and I will have a child no matter what, and somebody who is being captive against their will to make that happen. So Mia goes into the basement, tries to save Riley. Riley's in this warped mindset. Of course, she has now had 12 children, and all of them are buried in the front yard underneath all of these what look like Blair Witch signs. And then we go upstairs. Riley is about to leave with Mia, but before she does that, she goes into the actual upstairs, where Norma is standing over this child, an actual baby, cut her whole arms up and starts incanting and enchanting this demonic phrase, trying to essentially possess the child appropriately. We see the actual demon figure behind her. Her son, of course, is already dead. And then we have this mystical element where she floats Riley up into the sky and slams her down, and then Mia is there. Mia then sees her pictures on the walls. So it is evident that this is the plan. This was what was meant to happen, so that Mia could essentially take care of this child that was created by her sister because she so badly wants a kid. So they save the baby, they leave. They have this now new documentary perspective from Mia of, I'm just so happy that my sister is home and safe, and now we have this new baby and it's amazing, and she's looking more vibrant, she has her makeup done, she looks great, and Riley is just in a ball upstairs. She's been abandoned for 12 years. So every single time we cut back to Riley, we get this idea that she wants to smother this child and get rid of the demon that's there. And at this point in time, she's about to get ready to do it, and Mia walks in and she's like, don't do this is an innocent child, this is nothing. And Riley basically tells her, you have no idea, you are out of your depth, this is not an innocent child, this is barely a child, and therefore she tries to smother it. In the background, there is all this cracking glass, and Mia bumps Riley to get out of the way and essentially chucks her out the window. As soon as she falls and hits the ground, all of these hellhounds come and completely rip her to shreds, the same way that all of those paranormal paranoids were essentially taken out. So Mia is now standing at the top of this window with this baby that's crying, and her sister, who she has spent the last more than decade looking for, is dead at the bottom of her window, and the demon is standing behind her, puts its hand on her shoulder, and then her eyes sort of glaze over. So it is this idea that she is chosen to be the caretaker of this new baby, and she will do it because now she has nothing to lose. She lost her sister, the person that she has dedicated this portion of her life to looking for, and before that spent so much time wanting a child and looking after a child that this is sort of her destiny. So it's not the happiest of endings. It is what I would consider a dreadful movie. I would definitely add it to that. I don't feel good after watching it, but the production that is here is just, I think, what makes this really cool. We have the different versions of filming. So we have the old film from all of the paranormal paranoids. We have the new documentary style with the interviews with Mia. we have this drone footage of all of these different streets and locations, and then we have the actual movie that we're watching too. So we have 3 to 4 different versions of filming, which is really cool. Also, from an actual textbook perspective, all of these alludes are there in the background. This is going to be a great movie to watch, not only with subtitles, but also with the brightness cranked up, because there is a lot to look at in the background. Even some of the paranormal pieces that they point out to you, like they captured real evidence. They have to really zoom in the camera to get you to see that. So there is a lot to look at, even for the film style with Mia as well. Every single time that she's thinking about her sister or driving or doing something like that, she's usually catty corner to the screen, and then there's a lot of dead space, a lot of black space. So it is that idea of like the shadow self and the actual shadow figures essentially following her. You do also have many things, like I said, in the background. You have people's faces that are blurred out. You have intentions that are sort of smothered. So there's a lot of secrecy within just the textbook nature of filming this movie, which is really great. You know, Chris Stuckman, who created this, did his homework on how to film this type of movie. So to get into the actual rating of it, for the story itself, I would give it a 3 out of 5. I would also give originality 3 out of 5. I think this borrows way too much from, like I said, I went into it with the expectation it was going to be like Silent Hill. So you have the borrowed nature of Silent Hill. You have even the casting of Frank Stone from Dead by Daylight, this latest game. There's so much borrowed from even that. You have all of the things from a paranormal and demonic perspective that has been done tenfold. You have almost this Grave Encounters vibe. You have, again, that Blair Witch is really the most obvious thing that's in your face. And then you have Rosemary's Baby to top it off. So it's no secret that this movie borrows from a lot of the classics and a lot of inspirations, but to me, it's way too much. Like, I get what you're trying to do, and I think that it's really cool that we have this paranormal investigation gone completely wrong with the idea of being chosen by the devil in the background. But I think that this could have been a little bit better if there was just a little bit more individual folklore that was pulled from it. For acting, I would give it a 4 out of 5. There's really not a whole lot of dialogue in this movie. It's a lot of Mia just being scared and looking around, trying to do what she can to save her sister. There's only so much that you can kind of pull from that. I think she did a great job, and I would love to see her in more films. But everybody else, it's just like, you know, you did fine. You did fine. For production, this is what I was talking about. This gets a 5 out of 5. This is a really cool way of filming a movie, keeping your attention and giving you completely different perspectives while also using not only different mediums, but different time periods too. So it's really great. And then for scares, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. The dread is what carries this movie. There's not too many jump scares to really note, but I think anybody who sees this is not necessarily going to have nightmares, but is just going to have a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth. So all in all, we get a 3.7 out of 5. It is a little bit low. I don't know that I'll necessarily revisit this movie outside of looking for things that are in the background. This is like a one and done. You know, there's nothing that's really left up to the imagination. We get the ending, we get the point. It's somber, it's sad, it's macabre, but it has also relatively been done before. So having all of those borrowed natures is what kills it the most for me, but I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. I think it's unique. I think it's something that's different. I would watch it on a rainy day. That's kind of where I'll leave it. So let me know your expectations or thoughts of this new movie if you have seen it or are looking forward to seeing it. Again, it is different. It is more paranormal. It's more dreadful. So we have the same feeling of this new generation of horror, which is nice. But to me, it just missed the mark a little bit. So thank you as always for listening. Next week is our last Halloween movie review. So then it'll be actual Halloween. How exciting. But thank you as always for watching, supporting, following us along. and stay tuned for the next review.